Full time at London Stadium, West Ham United 1, Aston Villa 1. Finished. Lawrence, not satisfied is the words we said before we came on air. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we said it before. You said in your pre-match, we needed 3 points here. We can, we've been going off of cheering for other teams to lose, and we just not taking care of our business. We cannot get by with Villa at home, and be satisfied with it. It's sad state right now.
Yeah, there's sort of dividing the fan bases. People are leaving the stadium and putting stuff on Twitter, and I'm reading it all. And there's then some people saying that's not good enough, and that's they're putting us down for relegation. There's some people saying, look, we've got to take the positives out of it. It's 1 point better than nothing. So I suppose there is two ways of looking at it. I don't think that's good enough. I really don't. I'm going to bring Kieran on. Ollie, I can't see him, mate. I'm going to try and fix that. But Kieran, how are you?
Good, mate. Good day, Lawrence.
Hey, good. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, brother.
Good.
Kieran, thoughts
on that,
man?
It's not enough. One all's not enough. Regardless of the performance, regardless of that, we needed 3 points. So I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
And and where do we get all these points that we're looking for? We're looking for 3 or 4 wins, and our away form is horrendous. So we need to take advantage of every home game we get, and that one slipped by, isn't it? And a point is a positive, better than nothing. But we really did need 3.
Yeah, the fans at the end once again booed the players off, voiced their opinions, and I think it's rightly so. That is not good enough, and that doesn't help us whatsoever. As I look at the Premier League table now, Southampton have just drew 0-0 to Man United away from home. That's a massive point to them. That puts them within 2 points of us, and they're sat bottom of the league. We're now level on points with Bournemouth, who have dropped back down into the relegation zone after their surprise win yesterday. And we're just lurking, and we're staying above water currently by goal difference, by the skin of our teeth. It's just I don't know. I'm lost for words. I just don't see a way of getting out of this, Lawrence. I really don't.
No. What did you think of the game itself, Jackie? Did you think we've done enough?
Well, no, I don't. First off, overall, I thought we were better. Okay, that's not saying we were good by any stretch of the imagination. Watkins should have scored near the end to make it 2-1 to send them in leaders. That was very, very lucky. We didn't score from open play again. The penalty, let's be honest, it was soft. It was clumsy, but it was soft. On another day, that's not given, but we've got to take it, and we very thankfully have taken it in the end. But their goal from their first attack, bang it in, schoolboy defending again, can't mark a flipping beanstalk. No wonder a player, honestly. It's just pathetic how we cannot mark players, and they score. And I was content with that first half, and then we just really didn't push on, and Moyes didn't make the substitutions. He, in my opinion, rightfully took Paqueta off, being on a yellow card. I think that was probably the right decision. Ings up top on his own with no one within 30 yards of him. Who knew it wouldn't work? Who knew?
Who knew? Something we said in the preview, didn't I? So what I didn't want was Ings to be isolated.
Yeah.
And again,
which has now resulted in Ings going off. Ings looking not happy. Paqueta storming down the tunnel. He did come back a couple of minutes later, but he didn't even acknowledge and do a high five for 4 now. He went straight down that tunnel, and he did not look happy. There's a divide being created within the players. There's a divide being created within the fan base, and again, we had an opportunity to push on and win that game. There's one person that stopped it, and that's David Moyes. Left it until the 84th minute to bring on Cornet, our only player in the squad with a bit of pace, with a bit of something different alongside Ben Rama, I should say, who I thought was very good today, actually. But he was one of the few. Left it to the 84th minute, didn't bring Skamaka on again. Like, what is he? They were there for the taking, and we didn't take them. Am I being too harsh, Lawrence, or not?
No, but I really believe we got to put some of the onus on the players today.
Yeah.
We did not. I mean, if you look at Ings, his timing, he was being offsides. He couldn't do it. man of the match for us, if you want to have it, was Ben Ramba. He was schooling Cash on the side. He was getting by him like nothing. So he had a good game. But then Fornells came on, 2 good opportunities, and he couldn't do it there. So the difference between us, we're now saying our team looks okay out there, but we're not finishing. Other teams that are competitive, out of all those opportunities they had, they're making, they're knocking 1 or 2 in. But like even Cornet, his timing was off when he was out there. They were out isolated. We would get the ball up the pitch to set them up, and they weren't lined up right because Villa's defense was going really high, so they weren't judging that very well. So I don't think you're being harsh. I think I would have tried to brought Skamaka in earlier for Ings to see what would happen there. But I don't think we're being too harsh. Look at where we're at on the thing, and
Exactly.
with Paqueta walking off, you're seeing now. In the last several games, now you're seeing the frustration on the players on the field and the divide that you are seeing. So that is the leadership in the locker room right there. Even if it's Rice, who did not have a particularly good game today, or it's the management that, now it's spilling off onto the field, and it's just getting ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And what sort of sums it all up is there was a fake whistle 2 minutes from time, where somebody let off the whistle, and there was a really loud, instant boo that rang around the stadium until people realised that it wasn't the final whistle. And and people again are not happy, and Dom, a very a very well-known West Ham fan, has already put on Twitter and said it's not good enough. Plymouth away next year, and we just completely just second half. I thought we had a chance to push on, Kieran, and we didn't.
Mate, it's just a familiar theme now, isn't it, Jackie? And it all comes back to one man, doesn't it? It all comes back to Moyes, right? We can all sit here. Doesn't matter whether you're Moyes in, Moyes out. It doesn't matter. The fact what we're watching isn't good enough, right? And it hasn't been good enough for a long, long time. And the common denominator now is David Moyes. You're getting players walking off now, shooting down the tunnel. Why? Because they're frustrated. They've had enough, right? You've got Skamaka that can't even walk onto a pitch. Why did we buy this man? I said it at the time when we bought him. I said it doesn't make sense why we bought him. And it's making less sense now. Right? This is when he came in, Moyes, he decided he didn't want Allaire straight away. Right? And I think Allaire is a cracking striker. Always thought that. I'm a big fan. Yet Moyes wouldn't fucking do anything to utilise him or use him. And now he bought Skamaka, and now he's doing it with him. He brought in Ings. He's isolating him on his own. I just can't understand what Moyes' thinking is with this team. None of it makes sense.
No.
Right, and now you've seen the frustrations in recent weeks with Rice and other players too. Foul. They're all getting frustrated under this manager, yet we stick with him. And the 1 point might save him again. He might just carry on, which I reckon we've gone to the end of the season.
Yeah,
but we shouldn't have, because we could be relegated. It's a 50-50 now whether we get relegated or not, and it shouldn't be. We should be well away from this, and we're not. And the players now must take it in their own hands and go, look, pull him up and do something. Do something to save us, because we look like we're coasting to relegation.
Yeah, let's take some of your comments. Hammer Time Moyes has taken us down. Lewis says should have got 3 points. One of our better performances, but still not good enough. Would have been so nice to go 14th, now 17th, 2 weeks time. We will be in the bottom 3 again. I agree. And I've just looked at our remaining fixtures now. So we've got 12 games left. We've got 1, we've got 2, 3, 4. 4 out of those last 12 are against the big 6. We've got Fulham, who are on fire at the moment. Newcastle, who are still a very good side. We've got Brentford, who are a good side as well. Admittedly, we do have teams like Leicester, Leeds, Southampton left in there, which are massive, massive games. But I'm struggling to see where we get points from now. Other teams, they're picking up points against Liverpool. They're picking up points against Man United. Southampton got a point of Man United today. Everybody else is picking up points against these big teams. Moyes has gone 70 games in the Premier League or 70 odd games without beating one of these big sides, and I've got absolutely no hope that he's going to go and beat one of them. I honestly struggle to see where points are coming from with 12 games left. I honestly don't see where they're coming from to get us out of this, Lawrence.
No, I don't either. Like I said, I think this game at home was one we needed to have, we know, was one we targeted that we would get the 3 points. But I think we've been saying that for the last month or two, that this game we got to have, this is one we targeted, and we're just not doing it. And now we're at the point where, like we said there, a 1-1 draw is not good enough. So, and then on the road, which we were terrible at, and then we got the, 4 matches you said against the Big Six. We haven't proven that we're one of those teams that can go out there and pick one of them off and get the victory. You know what I mean? So it's looking pretty sad.
At the end of the day, we can't rely on just winning a few home games to get stay out of relegation. We need to nick or win against one of them teams we're not supposed to.
Yeah,
we've got to do what Bournemouth did. We have to do what Southampton did. Go, take a point against Man United. We don't look like we can ever do that against one of these top teams. No. We don't look like we're even going to get close. But we're going to have to. If we want to survive, we're going to have to pick a win up from a team that we're not meant to win against.
Yeah.
And I think of all them bottom teams, we're the ones that are least likely to do that.
Yeah. And what exactly sums the whole situation up is 2 games played at the same time. We got a point and Southampton got a point. We played Villa, with no disrespect to Villa. They're a decent side, and Southampton got a point away from home at Manchester United.
Yeah,
they've shown some hope there. They've got a bit of belief. Bournemouth did it yesterday. Leeds got a point. I think Everton won.
Yeah,
it's still an absolute nightmare of a weekend for us as we sit.
Yeah,
with a couple of the teams still in this relegation battle playing midweek, I think as well. There's a couple of teams that have got some games in hand as well, and just uninspiring, I think is the word, Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to grab hopes of what we could today, and then I saw glimmers of it, but it's like what Kieran says. You can see the frustration on the players now, and it's on the pitches when they're coming off. It's even like Ben Rama. I think he was doing good. Ings was getting frustrated in the middle, but Benny was trying to get it to him. Bowen was hustling his butt off, but it's just not enough. So I mean, we got to think of something. I mean, I like this. I like this up the pitch pressing more. I did like that. I like to see us further up. But I think we were in a 4-2-3-1 most of the match, and but. Like I said, it's just not enough. We're not a finishing team. We got to turn that around. And I'm with Karen. I think it's so late in the season now. We're probably stuck with Moyes. You know what I mean? We keep saying this match or this one. I think now, we got 12 more games left or something. If he hasn't gone yet, I really see them us still having him until the end of the season.
Yeah. And, if you just take out, bits of the game that I think most of us would have done differently from Moyes' perspective. Kieran, you tried to half sort of defend Kehrer before we came on. Again, it's schoolboy defending. He gets sucked in so easily. I've said it for a long, long time. Get Soufal back in his side, get him back as soon as possible, because Kehrer is simply not good enough. And the amount of times today that he got left in no man's land, or got turned, or got beaten, is just, not good enough.
No, Jack, it's not good enough, mate. And mate, if Soufal was fit, he'd be straight in, I'd imagine, because I think I was a better right back than Kehrer. Now, Kehrer could, he could ply his trade at maybe wing back and think he's good or whatever, but every time I've seen him at right back, he's been a liability, absolute liability. Yeah. Even worse when he's done his little stint at left back. But he's not good enough. He's not good enough. And it's always been a problem, this right back. I've never thought young Johnson. I think he's a good, decent, solid young player, but he's not good enough for the Premier League. I've always said that. Soufal, even though he's probably substandard to a top Premier League right back, he does a job. And he gives us more attacking threat as well. Even though his delivery at the end might not be good enough, but he's better than the other 2 options in Johnson and Kehrer. Yeah. Kehrer is just never going to make it there at right back. No. It's a shame. It's a shame that Soufal weren't. I presume he weren't fit tonight.
No.
But what do you do? I don't know what Moyes is thinking that you've seen enough bad performances at Kehrer at right back yet you can just continue to, yeah, well, that's it. I have to put him in.
And I think as well, you know, the commentator on the stream that I was watching it on just said, you know, there's a big problem in the right back area, because when Sufa does go injured, like the current situation, Johnson got absolutely embarrassed
killed last week.
And I could see why Moyes didn't play him, but then Kara, not on the same level, but was still, you know, the worst player on the pitch by quite a way today as well. So there's a big issue there. And as you move up the pitch, I can understand why you took Paqueta off, because they were diving around a bit and Paqueta was on a yellow card. I can understand it slightly, but you're leaving Souček on as well, where he could have bought Cornet on for Souček and then bought Ings on for bought Schumacher on for Ings to just go for it a little bit more instead of just doing the obvious one and then bringing Cornet on, leaving us with no striker for the last 5 minutes. Cornet playing out of position. None of it makes sense, Lawrence.
No, you hit it right on, because that's what I would have done. I would have definitely brought I brought Schumacher in for Ings and Cornet in for Souček or something like that, and just pushed on, because at the end we just, again, it's his decision making on his substitutions and stuff like that, which just baffles us. I know they want to get Cornet on there, but what did he come on, like at the 85th minute or something like that? And and then they put him up into the striker position, really, and he couldn't get his timing on. He was offside twice. Nothing against him, he's still trying to come back and stuff like that, but it wasn't in sync, you know. So
it's just frustrating, and many people are highlighting that on Twitter now. You know, that Cornet up front sub was a work of a nutter. Many people are saying, like, he's completely lost his head. Why on earth, you know? And I was for Cornet coming on, but I thought Bowen and Benrahma were our two best players today down them channels. I thought Bowen, you know, he got a bit of zip about him, and he was, you know, nudging off players, and those two on the wings I thought were our two best players. So I understood why he didn't take either of them off, and I backed that. But you've got to take Souček off when you're chasing the game, where we need to win the game.
We need to
take Souček off to bring Cornet on to then get a striker up front as well to make things make logical sense, Kieran.
Yeah, exactly that, mate. You know what I mean? When you're chasing a game now, this isn't, you know, 1 point is good enough. It's not. Yeah. We all know that. So take a punt and try and take the free. But he won't. It's just the most frustrating thing about Moyes is this. He always errs on the side of caution.
Yeah.
And we can't be cautious anymore. We need to go and try and take these games. And we're not. And it's so frustrating. It's so disappointing. You know, when you've got a result, when you look at our last two away results, like Tottenham and Brighton, and it's just so pathetic, so bad. And then when you get home, we were lucky to have Everton and Forest, because they were both absolutely terrible. But now we played a half-decent team, right? And that half-decent team come here and got a point. Yeah. And we never tried to really grab it and nick it and win it. No. And this is Moyes all over. And I think we need to be one of these big things. And you just can't see it. You know what I mean? And like you said, Jackie, some of these other teams like Bournemouth and Southampton are taking points off them. Even Leeds fans might think, oh, mate, we got away with one yesterday. But they had some highlights to watch.
Yeah.
They had some highlights to watch. They scored 2 goals. They came back twice. What did we do against Brighton? Absolutely nothing. There wasn't one highlight in that game worth watching. And that's the worrying thing. When we come across a good team, mate, we're lost. We're lost, and we're not doing it. And it's getting more worrying that when you see players running down the tunnels and you see the frustration in them players, you know there's a problem. The players aren't on board with Moyes. They're not. So something has to give.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. A couple more comments. Ashley says, may as well play out all these goals, the youngster.
Heck yeah.
SDG Gaming says we have 2 weeks back. We have 2 weeks now. Sack Moyes and have a free shot at Southampton. Now, this is a lot of negativity taken into a game that's probably going to paper some cracks on Thursday. Now, you know, we go into our final game until that Southampton game on the 2nd of April against Larnaca. That, in the end, you know, doesn't really mean anything, does it? You know, now nothing. In the Premier League, we are seriously in trouble. And I'm going to say now, I do think we'll go down because from that today, I've got absolutely no, there was no spirit there. And people say, yeah, we got a point, but you're clutching at straws. We didn't score from open play. We scored from a penalty that we probably shouldn't have had, if we're being honest, because it was a bit of a dive. And there was just, and there was no want to win in that second half, which was the most frustrating thing about it. I was sat here shouting at my laptop, make a change, Moyes. Bring on Cornet, bring on Scamacca in the right positions. And they were there for the taking, and we didn't take them. SCG Gaming says, we know what's going to happen. The board are going to say, if you lose to Southampton, he will be gone. Always the same crap from the board. Asked after Lucas Paqueta, I rate what he did, and that was the clear divide today. That's the first time we've seen it within the players. Rice got very, very agitated, and I think it was more down to Buendia's theatrics, to be fair. But there was more frustration there from Rice again today. He knows what it means. He's got a bit of passion there. And Paqueta showed his views as well. He was not happy. Those players are not playing for David Moyes, and that is the bottom line of it. Let's move on to some final thoughts then. Lawrence, do you first.
Yeah, I'm worried. That's all I can say. Going now, and then we got the break coming up. I don't know what we're really going to do. I mean, I'm nervous about us. I'm just going to have to figure out where to watch West Ham when we get relegated. What channel?
Don't expect to even show it over there today, Lawrence.
But like I said, it's our team. I'm going to go with them to the very end. We're going to cheer for them, but it's very frustrating.
Yeah. Kieran?
Yeah. Frustrating is the word, isn't it? We're look, we haven't won a trophy since 1980, but if anybody thinks that winning this Conference League and getting relegated is worth it, they're talking out their arse, right? It's as simple as that. It's not, because even if you did go and win this Conference League, and I don't think Moyes is capable of even winning that, I really don't. I think he'll fall short of that. But even if you won that and we got relegated, we got Europa League next year. So what? We're getting relegated. There'll be no joy in winning that trophy. And there should be joy in any trophy you win, don't matter which one it is. There should be loads of joy. And there won't be, because that's what he's heading for. He thinks he can win a trophy for the first one in his bloody career, right, and get us relegated. Oh, my good God. I mean, I can't think of anything worse. Because what do you do then? Oh, we better keep Moyes because he's won a trophy. No, that boy should have been gone 2 months ago. And he's still here. He's still hanging on by his fingertips, and he's still doing the same crap week in, week out. I've had enough. I've had enough for a long time. But now it's looking at distinct reality that we could go down. And I don't want to see that. I think it's still a 50-50 chance we'll stay up. But if it is, it'll be despite Moyes, not because of it.
I agree. Well said. Well said, Kieran. I think you're absolutely bang on. SDG Gaming says it's easy. Show if you want to play 3 centre backs, play 3-5-2 with Lucas and Rice in CDMs and Scamacca and Antonio up front with some pace and power. There's things that Moyes just refuses to do. Play 2 strikers up front. But we sit here week after week after week watching one striker up front with nobody within 30 yards of them, expecting to score goals. And he goes on post-match press conferences and says, "Well, we signed Ings to score goals." Well, he's not a miracle worker. Yes, he's a proven Premier League striker, but he's never going to score goals when there's absolutely nobody around him. Everybody else is in a different postcode. No wonder on the same pitch.
No, I haven't got a chance. Right. I haven't got a chance, man. And I said I always go back to Elia. He didn't care about Elia. He left him up there isolated, which weren't his game. He was always a guy that played with a man up next to him, as Ings has. And yet here we go again. He's done it with Scamacca. Scamacca wants. You could see by even coming on against Larnaca, Scamacca wants out of here, mate. Have a look at his body language. Yeah. He didn't even want to come onto that pitch. No. This is what Moyes does to strikers. I don't know what it is with him, but he's got this thing with strikers. Yeah. He doesn't use them or utilise them or get the best out of them. He's a nightmare.
Yeah, you go with Moyes to die if you're a striker.
Yeah, I think you're right, Lawrence. I
Absolutely
think
kills your career. Absolutely kills your career. STG Gaming, go down to the Championship, play Europa League, win the Europa League, get promotion, and have Champions League. Oh, dearie me. Dearie me. Dad's joining me from somewhere in London.
Richard.
Not very
Richard.
Good.
Not very good at all. Quickly put some thoughts into the chat if you want before we go. We are going to start wrapping things up. Before we do, though, drop a like on the video, subscribe to West Ham Unofficial if you haven't already. Check out our channel sponsors, Aston, Carver and Son, by clicking the link in the description down below. Manscaped as well, lawnmower, weed whacker, all that stuff. West Ham Unofficial 20 for 20% off and free shipping. I'll have my on my own reaction coming to you very, very shortly. The blood is beginning to boil in my body, so that will definitely not be something to miss. So make sure you tune into that. That'll be out within the next hour or two. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Lawrence and Kieran, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thanks,
No
Jake.
worries.
Good to see you, geezer.
Good to see you, Lawrence. Really is.
Very good from us. Come on, you irons.
Come on, you
Oi.
irons.
Come on, boys, you muppet.
Boys.
And now we haven't got to watch West Ham in the Premier League until the 2nd of April. Get the party poppers
Thank God
out.
for
Yeah.
Happy days.
We won't lose next week.
I can do not match of the day next week, and I ain't got to moan about West Ham at all. 2 weeks in a row. Get in. We'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.